What's up? It's your boy Danye BC2, and we back. So I'm doing this differently. I'm doing this as a live stream. So the first subject, actually, before we get into it, please do me a huge favor. Hit that like and subscribe button. Road to 1,000 is definitely the goal. And I appreciate everybody who's been rocking with me along the way. Now, today, we're going to talk about three different things, but the first thing I want to hit on is Jason Whitlock. So I don't not know what happened. I don't know what happened at all. All I know is Jason Whitlock and Stephen A. Smith are beefing. I don't know. I wish I could do more digging, but I wanted to react to it live and I mean while y'all watch. But let's see what Jason Whitlock had to say about Stephen A. Smith. Let me get my let me get my banners going on too. Where we at here? All right, let's check this joint out.
Because I'm listening to this going, oh my God, does Cat Williams know who he's talking to in Shannon Sharpe and what he represents? Because when he talks about that cabal, that Steve Harvey and Ricky Smiley and all these guys, you know who's in that cabal in the sports media world? Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is a part of that cabal. And so Stephen A. Smith wrote or had someone write, because Stephen A. Smith can't write, had someone write a memoir, Straight Shooter. And he shouldn't have done that because I've read it. If you go look at Stephen A. Smith's narrative, many people, including myself, that know Stephen A. Smith's narrative is like, this makes no sense. This dude could barely write. Had editors at the Philadelphia Inquirer that had to rewrite everything. Stephen A. Smith, if you go read his memoir and listen to the stories he tells about getting a basketball scholarship to Winston-Salem State, it's so mind-blowingly preposterous and stupid and fabricated. Somehow sits out a year.
Okay, so if you didn't catch that, in the very beginning of the video, he was trying to compare the Cat Williams situation because Cat Williams was actually talking about the other comedians, and he was saying that they basically didn't put in the work or like don't have enough credentials to really speak on him. So he's trying to like compare this to Stephen A. Smith, I think, with a lot of other like commentators or other basketball people who played the game who are in the NBA that always debate Stephen A. and always go at Stephen A. He's saying that I think he's trying to like compare it to that Stephen A. shouldn't really like be going back and forth with them, or they shouldn't be going back and forth with Stephen A. because Stephen A. isn't certified enough, which I don't agree with, but we can keep watching.
Year and goes and plays in one scrimmage game, and he gives a date of the scrimmage game. It's like it's in the middle of their season. They bring Stephen A. Smith up for a scrimmage at the end of their season around NCAA conference tournament time. They bring him up, and he participates in the scrimmage and makes 17 straight shots, and they give him a full-ride basketball scholarship at a school that struggles to give out full-ride scholarships to more than 3 or 4 players on the team. Stephen A. Smith got one for making 17 straight shots in a scrimmage at the end of some.
Jason Whitlock's talking a lot, but do you not see Stephen A.'s form in the background? That joint is hit money. What is he shooting? Look at his
to give out full-ride scholarships to more than 3 or 4 players on the team. Stephen A. Smith got one for making 17 straight shots in a scrimmage at the end of someone's regular season when he drove up from New York. Stephen A. Smith's on camera talking to Molly Karam and Jalen Rose and J.J. Redick, and they put up a stat, and we can play the video.
Before we dig into the NBA, take a look at this blind resume here. It's 3 players, their scoring average in each person's final college season. Do we have any guesses who this might be? Jalen, who do you think? What is this?
Nah, this is hilarious. JJ's on the right.
It's our starting lineup from tonight.
Well, they're not telling. What they're not telling is I only played one game because I cracked my kneecap in half. But that's neither here nor there.
That is neither here nor there.
Everybody's kind of giggling at Stephen A. in comparison to J.J. Redick and Jalen Rose. And Stephen A. says on camera, well, what they don't tell you is, I only average 1 point a game because, or I only average that little a game because I only played in one game that year because I blew up my knee. Someone must have figured out later, like, Stephen A., we got you up here saying you average 1.5 points a game your senior year. You just said on camera you only played in one game your senior year because you blew out your knee. You can't average 1.5 points if you only played one game.
Facts. He is right about that. The numbers do not add up. You play one game and average 1.5.
Can't be done. Now, I'm not a math genius, but it cannot be done. So what he did, there's another video of Stephen A. Now, Stephen A., you got time to scrub it from the internet if you'd like. Where it's like 3 or 4 months later, Stephen A. figured out, like, oh, God, I screwed up. And so he went on the Stephen A. Smith podcast and said, he played the clip of them doing that. And then he said, it's all a lie. It was all a lie. I didn't play a damn game because I blew out my knee.
It's a lie. How about 0? Because I never played, because I cracked my kneecap in half.
So that was Jason Whitlock's rant on Stephen A. And you could tell.
Okay, so yeah, as you can see, Jason Whitlock, he's not playing around with Stephen A. He did make some points though. I ain't gonna lie, he did come up with some good points, which I don't know Stephen A's background, but I wasn't thinking, because Stephen A does actually talk about some of his history. At least he said how he had to go through a lot of interviews. He said like over probably like 20 interviews to get the position of where he's at. Yeah, I mean, he's been on TV for 15 plus years for sure, as long, damn near as long as I've been living. So he's put in the work. That's where I'm not really seeing what Jason Whitlock's talking about, because it's not like Stephen A. Smith just came out of nowhere. We all watched Stephen A. Smith's progress. Like, we've seen Stephen A. over the years, and now he's successful. He's damn near the best sports commentator, and all the stuff that he does and all the things that he gets into, and he earned it. He worked his butt off. He was in everybody's faces. He is arguably, one of the best debaters, because, he's been in spotlights. He has his own moments, and it's Stephen A. Smith. So yes, Stephen A. Smith, a guy who's put in the work, a guy who's been there, who showed up, who has a background, who has, some solid stuff to his name, should be able to speak about the sport that he studies and talks about. So Jason Whitlock, I'm not quite seeing, I'm not connecting the pieces to whatever you're trying to solve. So yeah, that's the Jason Whitlock and Stephen A. Story that's going on. Now, the next subject that I want to talk about is Cat Williams. Now, Cat Williams is